Hi, kids. It's Martyr. Before the start of the episode, which is a very exciting episode with our special guest, Holly Day, I just wanted to remind you that we are, running for your consideration for Best Podcast, which you can vote on the Glams website. If you're part of NYC Nightlife, I will provide a link in the description of this episode. So we'd be so thankful if you vote for us. I am running for Door Goddess for the Glam Awards. So if you'd also put my name down for that, that'd be great. But without further ado, enjoy the episode. Bye.
Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig to go flying.
All right.
Oh, hi, kids.
Hello.
It's me, Martyr,
Me, C Tapper.
and this is Wigging Out. Late September, early October edition.
Correct. I guess
I was
that's
like,
when it's coming out.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
right around
probably.
there.
We'll
I don't know.
see. We'll find out.
Fall is starting. The queen is dead. We're having a great old time over here.
Really aging our show right now.
I'm just saying the queen is dead. Anyways,
Long live the queen.
Caitlin, what are we doing today? Who are we talking to? What's up?
So, okay. So honestly, like probably one of the biggest like NYC legends, definitely the biggest NYC legend we probably ever had on the show, I would say. Miss Holiday.
Hey,
Oh,
yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me,
welcome.
guys.
Of course.
I feel very like humbled that you agreed to do this stupid
Me
show.
too.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
We're just gonna get right into it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Go back into the past. How was life like growing up in Boston?
Well, it wasn't really Boston. It was I was a military baby, so I kind of grew up all over. Um, the longest I've ever lived anywhere is New York City, but I guess like my high school, middle school type of stuff was in Massachusetts, so Boston. So that's also where my drag started as well. So it was great. It was really fun. I could definitely say like I could do Boston to New York, but I could never do New York to Boston. It just too total, like it was kind of like a warm up for me, at least for drag wise, moving into New York and everything. But I loved it. I love Boston. I had a great time.
Yeah, I'm surprised you did drag in Boston, but we'll get more into that.
Yeah. It's a definitely different scene. I mean, this was
yeah.
17 years ago, so it was a long time ago.
Wow.
Long time ago.
As we said, legend.
Also
Legend.
known as old.
Old.
Hey, I didn't want to say it. But...
Right, exactly. I know what it means. I know.
So you have a background in theater. I know you did national tours, and then you ended up on Broadway doing Gypsy.
It wasn't Broadway. It was.
Oh, it was in Broadway.
It was Chicago's Broadway, basically.
Okay.
But, it was at the Ravinia Festival. It was the first time Patti LuPone did Gypsy, and it was with Paul Gimignani and Lonnie Price as the director. And that was like one of my biggest gigs that I did. But I did do theater throughout my whole life. I went to Performing Arts High School, Walnut Hill School in Massachusetts, and then I went to Chicago College of Performing Arts in Chicago. So, yeah, it was good. It was a good way to actually I thought that was the path I was going, and then drag snowballed so fast for me. But it was a good way to kind of set myself up for drag, because drag, as we all know, is definitely an art as well as an art form. So my theater past definitely helped me with my career in drag for sure.
How did you then break into the drag scene?
Well, the truth was the first time I did it was in Boston with Jujubee from RuPaul's Drag Race. Was the first person ever to put me in drag. And first person ever, many years ago. Airline, that's his boy name. Put me in drag, and I did like a competition at this bar called Access Lounge, which I think has been torn down now. It's on Lansdowne Street, and I started that. And I had a great time, but I lost the competition. Not a shocker. And I think my drag name was like Miss Untitled or something like that. I used to be a go-go boy back in the clubs. Like that's how I got into them all. I know. Pretty horrifying to think of that as a go-go boy now.
I feel like it kind of makes sense though.
I mean, it was a good transition, right?
Yeah.
But no, so I did that competition, and then I kind of just did drag on and off for fun, like Halloween and stuff like gay pride. And then when I moved to New York and I started doing tours and stuff like that. And then in my off time, I would do competitions. I'd pick up little shows every now and then. I'd guest shows. I do a lot of charity work and stuff like that. And when I started just getting typecasted as a chorus boy in theater in the equity world, I just got sick of it. And I was kind of like, I'm going to really focus on drag. And then it just snowballed really fast from there.
Is there anything from theater that you've kind of taken towards like the drag side?
I mean, definitely a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much drag nowadays, like reality stars and social media stars, and drag is all drag to me. It's all, but I think as a performer, that's what I bring to the stage. I take my theatrical background on how to put a show together, and even performing a song, and making sure it's got all different levels and all different colors of performances, and the creativity that comes with theater, I think is what I brought to my drag for sure. But again, that also is not saying other types of drag is not real drag. I'm not that type of person. Like, Instagram stars and, those people that have millions of followers and everything, that's its own type of identity as well. That's very credible. So definitely think it's the same. It's just a different type of genre of drag.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Even your drag's valid, Martyr.
Holly, you mentioned that your first name, or one of your first names, was Mix Untitled. How'd you get to Holly?
Are we allowed to say in 2022?
I know. Well, before I get that, I do want to give a little disclaimer. Drag definitely changed over the years.
Yeah.
I was, as I said, 17 years ago, it was before RuPaul's Drag Race, and really before YouTube had a lot of tutorials and everything like that. And drag was way more underground, and it was more supposed to be in your face. The humor that would happen was, think Bianca Del Rio, but that was like every single drag queen. Mm-hmm. It was very offensive. It was very in your face. It was unapologetic. And this was really when camera phones weren't huge. So like you could say stuff and it wouldn't get recorded and then be like totally taken out of proportion and totally like, so I was my first like business drag name here in the city was Miss Holly Cost. I knew this was going to get brought up. I knew
we had to talk about it.
I was like, I knew it was going to come and get me. I can't wait till I get all your little minions attacking me. But
Brooklyn, calm down.
I know it's going to come after me. But I only had that name for about a year. And then talking to many other people and, bars not being able to hire me, or like I got booked in the first year, I got booked to go down to do Providence Pride. And they're like, we can't put that on a poster. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we're going to call you Holly C. And I was like, I sound like a missing Spice Girl, but I was like, okay, that's fine. So I just changed it because it wasn't bookable and it's not appropriate now. I totally know that. So now
Diznee would destroy you.
Oh my gosh, it would be horrible now. So it's very funny because I'm not sure if you guys know the writer Michael Musto, yes, very legendary.
Of course.
He was the one person that was so mad that I changed my name. I can't believe you changed it. But I wanted to keep Holly. So I kind of went through all these things like Holly Jolly, Hollywood, and then Holly Day came to me. But I was like, that's pretty simple. So I changed the Y to the E, just to make it a little bit my own, a little bit something different. So.
And now you can be the queen of every holiday.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot. I think there's like 2 in LA I've seen.
Oh, really?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of them. They're very young, but yeah, I've seen them.
Okay. They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They're gonna know.
Right.
I don't know. So you moved to New York, and then you had this like really strong hustler mentality when it came to nightlife and getting your name out there. I feel like a lot of queens these days kind of like just expect everything to happen to them and they don't put in the work, but you're like, I mean, you put in the work.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, it was like totally different. Like nowadays, a bar has a drag show, at least one drag show every single day. Some of them have 2, some of them even have 3 a day. But when I was starting out drag, a bar would have 1 drag show a week, and then it would be Go-Go Boys and that type of scene. It would maybe have 1 or 2, but it wasn't very many. Like, and drag queens, really, we weren't very liked very much, like by the gay, like some gay men would like you and stuff, but it wasn't like what it is now. You know what I mean? It was not praised, and not people wanted to know us. We wanted to see you do a number, and that was about it. And the drag shows weren't 2 hours long like they are now, or an hour and a half. They were 30 minutes, 40 minutes tops. And again, there's supposed to be one or two a week at a bar. So it was a hustle. So it was like there was a way fewer jobs, way fewer opportunities. And did you guys ever see what was that, Party Monster?
Of course.
And that whole mentality
movie.
where they talk about, you go into a bar, you make a full circle, you say hi as many people as you can, then you get out and you go to the next bar, and you make a full circle. That's really what we would do. And we would get, I was about 3 years in drag until I started actually getting paid for drag, which is unheard of now. Kids nowadays,
they won't do it. They won't do it.
They won't do it. Exactly. And that's great. I mean, I'm happy now that drag queens are getting paid now and stuff. Like, I love that. But it wasn't the mentality back then. Like, you had to go out, you had to just, and not even just go out and do a competition, just go out and try to walk and be seen amongst bars. You guys all definitely know Peppermint, right?
Yeah, of course.
So Peppermint, back in the day when Splash was still around, and she was a baby drag queen, she would take peppermint candies and stand out at the line at Splash and just walk and hand people peppermint candies and say, hi, I'm Peppermint, and get to know you. Like, that was how she got her name out there. So yeah, she paid her dues and stuff like that. We all had to do it though. It's just a very different world, but yeah.
I feel like you've seen a lot of things change. Like, how do you think you like really made your market, like started to like climb up the nightlife ladder? Like when did you like realize things were like changing, especially because of all that
hustle? Drag Race really changed. Yeah, I mean, not like season 1 and season 2, right when it really caught on and stuff like that, around 3 and 4 and stuff like that. And then it was just kind of like, I don't know, I don't think really drag changed. I mean, it did change in the sense of like became way more PG, way more commercial, but it was more like respected. Like, people wanted to see more shows. Because nowadays, if you go into a bar and there's not a drag show, a lot of people just turn around and walk out. So it has changed in the sense that people appreciate drag. They have a lot more opinions on what we do, and they let us know, that is for sure. But it's really like RuPaul's Drag Race, in my opinion at least, had the hugest change on it all. And it really forced us to be the drag that we are now, which I call more commercial drag, which is, you know, not what it used to be, but it's plus and minuses, you know what I mean? It's good things, like more people are not so offended and stuff like that, which is a good thing. You know, I want to respect people's feelings, but I do miss the underground of it, where it was supposed to be in your face. It was supposed to make you a little bit uncomfortable. It was supposed to, it wasn't supposed to be, so I'm a pretty girl, look at me be a pretty girl. You know what I mean? It was supposed to make a statement about drag in that sense. So, but yeah, again, I would definitely say RuPaul's Drag Race had the biggest effect on drag, for sure.
Yeah. Going a little bit more into it, how have the audiences changed?
Audiences. I guess it's going back to what we said before, where they have so much control now. Like before, I would come to a show and I'd have a set written out exactly what I wanted to do. I'd be like, I want to do this song to this song to this song. And now, because there's so many options, because there's so many gay bars, because there's so many drag queens, we really cater to what our audience is. Like my show that I do at the Monster on Wednesday is going to be different than the show I do on Thursday tonight at Queen at Industry, because I cater to what that crowd is. Industry bar is a lot more younger. They want, you know, Miley Cyrus, and they want Beyonce, and they want that stuff, where my crowd down in the West Village wants a bit more of eclectic. They sometimes will do some Motown and stuff like that, because we'll get a little bit of older people down there sometimes. So it's just, now I've really molded. I'm not sure the audience has changed, but because they can get a hold of us, because they can voice their opinion on us, and voice their opinion about, trying to think of the right way to say this. They can, because they can, you know, the cancel culture and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's always in the back of your mind about how you approach every single show. And I also think it's smart though, you know, because there's so many options and because there's so many drag queens, you have to mold your show to your audience. So that's definitely happened. Back in the day, it was not like that at all, for sure.
No, I know a lot of like the longer running queens who've been around, like they've had to change a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay true to myself. You know, I don't want to try to like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm like, you know, fluffing bubbles and all that stuff. That's never going to be me, but I can tone it down and I can, you know, make sure I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
maybe I do, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know. Well, now everyone has a camera too these days.
Exactly.
So
That's the scary thing.
I feel, especially for your shows, which I think a lot of times are on the grander scale, like
yeah,
everyone's recording.
I mean, that's the blessing also about doing it for so long, is a lot of stuff I produce now. So I produce Queen and stuff like that. It's not really producing distorted Diznee and stuff because that's all of the girls, but a lot of the shows are on a stage like the Laurie Beachman Theater or even Industry, which is a pretty big stage as well. So that's been a blessing for doing it for so long. And because drag has become so accepted and excited, like people are excited for drag now, we're able to produce really big shows, which is really fun. So for sure.
On that note, we're going to get way more into all these shows because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, we are.
We'll take a little break.
Little break. We'll be right back, kids. Bye.
Wig, okay.
I know, wig. I feel that already.
Wig, okay.
Wig, did you just say wig?
Wig, okay.
I am ready for my wig to go flying.
And we're back. Ooh, such a long
break.
Oh my God, it's been weeks.
Sure.
Holly, what's it like being constantly glam nominated, especially for glam hosting?
Oh my God.
That is not how I worded that question.
That's exactly how she worded it.
That's not how I worded that question.
That's exactly how she worded it.
I have done a few of these podcasts, and I will say this has never been brought up, but it's
really
quite funny. Yeah, no. True story. I have never won a glam award.
Boo.
Very,
Neither have we.
Well, there you go. Exactly. No, I mean, it is what it is. It's all about that award show has definitely changed over the years too.
Yes.
But it's nice that we have an award show. So let me say that. And I have been nominated, which is awesome and very cool, to be nominated by your peers is the PG answer I'm supposed to say. But over the years, I have 22 nominations and never won. I mean, I will say some of my shows have won, like Queen has won one before.
Yeah.
So I have a glam up there.
Okay.
But it never like an award like personally for myself. So,
boo. You and Bootsy, I guess.
No, well, Bootsy's won.
She has? She was
won.
doing some huge campaign because she wanted Entertainer of the Year, I guess.
And she wanted Entertainer of the Year, and I think she got Best Comedy Queen.
Yeah, that's what she got.
I think she got that. So, yeah, Bootsy's won. And Brenda's won like 40 million. So I'm like, God damn. Justice for Holly, right?
Yeah, we'll start a campaign.
Honor to be nominated.
Exactly.
We're used to losing too, but not that many. You're the Susan Lucci of the Glam Awards.
I am. It's kind of funny at this point, but no, it's all good. I always tell people if you get nominated, that's great, and if you don't, it's not a big deal. As I said, I've lasted 17 years without one, and I'm doing okay. So I'm like, it's exciting if you win. I try not to pull that away from anybody. Like, it's very exciting if you win a glam award, but if you don't, it doesn't mean that your career's over. It doesn't mean anything, So yeah. I always just try to put it that way.
Someone told me, I forgot who, some queen was like, it doesn't make a difference with my bills. Like, it doesn't pay the bills.
I mean, it's exciting. So, it is an honor, and it is very exciting to be seen by your peers. But when the day is over, you don't get extra gigs for this. You don't get a paycheck for this. It's just something that sits on your shelf and gives you a little smile when you're doing your makeup. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. After the Glam Awards, and people that are not in nightlife, don't really know.
They have no idea.
They don't know about the I will say, like, this show's been glam nominated, and people are like, "What the fuck is a glam?" Oh, can I say that on her?
Yeah, no, yes. We're what is it? Explicit. You can.
Yeah. God knows.
You're back, and it'll be like beep beep.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I can if you want me to.
Marty would never want to edit that.
No. But yeah.
What do you think it takes to be the best hostess?
I've actually been asked this question a lot. And my best answer is just reading your crowd. There's so many queens that get on stage, and especially if they're working with another queen, they'll just forget that they're doing a show, and they'll forget that you have to engage your audience, and you have to look at when your audience is like, okay, should we go to another bar? Like, should we go somewhere else? Like, because it is New York City. If it was down, and I'm not going to insult a state right now, but if it was down somewhere else at a bar where there's only 3 gay bars, yeah, those people are stuck there. They don't have any other options. But here in New York City, they have so many options and so more coming that you have to constantly be watching your audience. I mean, that being said, don't like change who you are, but just keep it like keep an eye at your audience. See how, if they're engaged, if they're just talking to each other, switch to something else. Try to get a different topic in there. Try to do different music. Try to, you know, like it's really, really important to constantly remember that you are doing a show, and this is not just a kiki for you and your girlfriend on the stage. So that's like when I see other drag shows, especially young queens, that's the big thing that I'm missing, is that performance aspect. You know what I mean? Not all the time. I mean, I'm saying with some of the queens that I see problems with their shows.
I think like hosting, it just takes a long time for queens to learn how to do
Oh,
it.
totally.
Yeah.
And like I just, as I said, I've been doing it for so long that you have to get that comfortableness on the microphone. And I was actually listening to Sarah Silverman's podcast, and she was saying that the best thing a comedian or host can do is non-verbally say on a microphone, I've got you. Like, don't worry, I've got you. We're gonna get through this show. It's gonna be great. And like, if you can portray that comfortability and that calmness, doesn't mean slow, but you know, like calmness, but I've got you and I'm confident enough, that really helps. And like the audience can feel that. So that's the biggest advice. And again, that's exactly what you said. It takes years and years to figure out that within yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely.
What do you feel about queens who get like wasted while hosting? Because I've been in many
I've been
a
those
show.
queens that have been wasted and hosting those shows.
Yeah, I've been many a show.
No, listen, I mean, it happens. It's liquor. You're in a bar.
Yeah.
And it's really hard when everyone else is drinking around you to not try to get up on their level and stuff like that. I will say it's happened to me many times that I would like to admit, but really try to keep it in check, because if you are trying to make this a business, if you are trying to make a living off of this, which is possible, especially in New York City, you have to remember that that bar is now your office. It's not there for you to go out there and have a good time. It's there for you to make sure they have a good time. Yeah. So again, it is way easier said than done, because even 17 years in the business, I'm like, ooh, did I end the show? How did I end the show? You know what I mean? Like, it definitely happened, and it's embarrassing, but I do highly, highly recommend that you keep it in check, especially if you're doing 5 or 6 shows a night. You don't want to be getting hammered every single night. It's not only not classy and not cute, but also not good for your freaking health. So that's what I would recommend. I mean, just try to keep it in check as best you can.
I was gonna say, like, I personally don't even drink until like I'm done performing for like the night. Like,
it's
I won't
smart.
touch it.
I know a lot of people that do that. A lot of people that are like, I won't drink until the show's over, or I won't start drinking until halfway through my show. I do some of my nights that I do, especially on my Sunday night show, because it's after, 5 shows, and I can, after 2 shots, I'm like, I'm drunk. So I literally don't start till halfway through my show. So I'm like, okay, by the end, I'll be ready to jump in my cab and be right out of here. But to each their own. I also recommend, making sure you got a really good friend circle that can kind of keep that in check. Because again, it's so easy to lose a job. There's so many queens that can slip right under you and just be like, all it takes is that manager to be like, I'm done with this. I don't care how talented you are, but you're that much of a mess. I can't defend you anymore. So I've seen it happen tons and tons of times. Tons.
Well, going from your philosophy on hosting, how about we go into some of the shows you host?
Okay.
Tell us all about Wasted Wednesday and Spunk.
Yeah. So at Monster Bar, I'm there on Wednesdays and I'm there on Saturdays. Wednesdays and 2 very, very different shows. Wednesdays, it's me and another drag queen. I've got 4 girls and I rotate them out. So my girls right now are Nova Czar, Pataya Hart, who are my other girls? Just kidding. Candy Buttons and Tina Twirler. And so they each take one Wednesday of the week. And it's great. That is what, for me, out of all my shows, every single one of my shows, every single weekday of the week is completely different.
Yeah.
And that's made it work for me over the years that I've been able to do it for so long. My shortest running show right now is 9 years. So it's been nice that they've lasted so long, but it's because I keep it. If I was doing the same thing over and over and over again, it would never work. So my Wednesday show is what I call my classic drag show. It's not very structured. It's going to have me and a girl. We do like drag roulette or drag suicide, whatever you want to call it. We do it twice. And then it's me just kind of having fun with the audience, doing games, getting people up on the stage, just way more relaxed type of feeling, and a kind of a more, as I said, classic drag show. Do you want me just to keep going through my schedule?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Go for it.
And then Queen on Thursdays at Industry Bar is very produced. It's choreography, it's costume changes, it's themes. And I've got a huge core cast of 8 girls, and they rotate them out. So they each do twice a month. And we'll do themes like tonight it's back to school. We kind of keep it like last week it was that's a wrap on summer. We'll try to keep it with what's going on. And then we've got 3 big production shows that we do at Queen. We do Alice in Wonderland, we do The Wizard of Oz, and we do The Lion King. We call it The Lion Queer. And that's why we'll do the full, like, Alice in Wonderland will go all the way down the rabbit hole and she meets all the characters and do the whole production there. So that's my big like production show, and that's really, really fun. And then Fridays I have kind of like 3 gigs that I do right now. I do Distorted Diznee, which has been running in March, will be 11 years. And that's with Bootsy LaFerris, Brenda Darling, and now it's Fifi Dubois and myself.
Okay.
And actually very exciting. We're going to next weekend, the original cast, which is with Pixie Aventura. We're going to Disneyland to perform at Gay Days. So that's very exciting.
Wow.
I saw.
We're very
I want to
go. We got a call and we're like, oh, fuck, we're getting sued by the mouse. Like, this is the end.
It's over.
And then they called us and they're like, no, we want you to come and perform for Gay Days in Disneyland. So we leave next Friday. So we're very excited for that. That's very exciting.
That is exciting.
A long time coming.
Yeah, right? So then back to Friday, when I'm not at Distorted Diznee, I'm at Open Call, which is a drag competition at Ritz Bar, which is really, really fun for me because I get to see the young talent. Some of these queens have been doing drag for 3 months, 4 months, and to see the talent that they have is very exciting and inspiring for me. So that's every single Friday where the audience is the judge. And then the other show on Fridays that I do, sometimes I do doubles and I go out into New Jersey and I do Feathers.
Okay.
Which is very fun. Love Club Feathers. It's a half-hour show, so it's brilliant in my mind. It's my old school days. Yeah, it's a half hour. We just come in, we do like me and another drag queen just kind of do 2 numbers, a quick game, and then get back across into Manhattan. So I love that. I love when I get to go to Club Feathers. And then Saturday is Spunk, which we were talking about before, which we are celebrating Thursday. The 22nd is their 10-year anniversary of Spunk. So that's very exciting.
Wow.
But yeah, that's basically pretty self-explanatory. We've got 30 to 40 go-go boys that walk around offering lap dances, and I'm the madam, I guess. I feel like if you ever seen Texas Little Courthouse, I'm Dolly Parton of the group, basically.
Yep.
But it's fun. I mean, it's a tough job. I get to look at 30 to 40 hot men every single Saturday, so that's fun. And then on Sunday, we're at Pieces for Spunk again. It's a little more of a smaller group. We usually have around 15 to 20 go-go boys.
Oh, wow.
And that's more of a cabaret style. So we get like people are sitting down at the tables. I get to do more drag, like where I'm hosting more, because it's Saturday at Monster. It's definitely a dance party where I'm just kind of amongst the crowd. But Sunday is more of a cabaret style. So it's definitely a different type of Spunk. It's 2 totally different parties. But and we got drag queens. We got Novazar. We got Cherry Poppins that both work at Spunk as well. So
we just had Cherry on our show.
There's my life.
That sounds like a full schedule.
She's so like she has so much free time.
No, I wish I did. But no, I'm very blessed, and I always say, I'm very, very lucky. I worked very hard to get them, but I am very lucky. I was at the right place at the right time, is what I definitely believe. So
I think you put in the work too, though. I've seen so many girls come and go in nightlife, and like,
oh yeah, totally.
The girls who stay and work, it's for a reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just, some people it's for them and some people it's not for them. And I've seen a lot of girls that go 3 years in and they're like, nope. And I would say that's like where you find out really if you want to do drag, is the 3-year tick where you're like, now you either got to go balls to the wall or you got to get out, because drag is so expensive and you have to invest so much money for it to go anywhere, especially nowadays. So the 3-year mark is usually where you see girls either drop or take off and go for it. So
Are you okay, Martyr?
Like, how many years have I been doing this shit? No. Who knows? I don't know.
So you've competed in a lot of pageants and won a lot of titles, like Entertainer of the Year at Miss Fire Island. What has that experience been like?
This is always the hardest part for me because I have to be like, I've won this and I've won this.
Yeah, no, list it, girl.
No,
You've
but
earned it.
I've lost a lot more than I've won. I will definitely say that. The two big ones that I'm really proud of are I've won Entertainer of the Year twice out on Misfire Island. But I've also competed in the pageant part of that and lost every single time. So I've done that pageant 5 times. I've done Entertainer of the Year twice and I won both those, which was great. Very, very honored for that. And it was really, really exciting to win. The first year I did it, I did this number with these 2 dancers, and halfway through while I'm getting judged, my music just stops. And I'm literally in the air getting thrown by one dancer to another dancer when it turns off. And these boys are such professionals, these men, sorry, are such professionals. And they just kept throwing me back and forth. Like, and one of the guys just started being like, hey, started making this music with his chest. I don't know. I was in the air thinking we got to stop, but they just kept throwing me back and forth. And the audience started clapping, and we finished the number with just claps and chants, and that was it. And we won. So that was really, really, really exciting for us for that. And then the second time I did it, we won. I did a number. Oh my God, my dog is going to bark. I'm sorry. But stop it. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Daisy is crazy. But the second time we did it, I did a number dedicated to my aunt that passed away from multiple sclerosis. And my dancer that I did it with, his mom had just passed away from breast cancer. So we kind of did a morphing of both those things together. It's about losing somebody. And we did the song Skyscraper by Demi Lovato. And we totally both went into it going, this is not a type of number that wins at the Misfire Island pageant, you know? But it was a beautiful piece. It was something we wanted to do for my aunt and for his mom. And we ended up winning, and it was really, really great. It was because it was a number, I've never seen something like that at the Misfire Island pageant. So that was really, really exciting to win that piece, especially for like a slow kind of modern dance piece that we did. It was really, really exciting. But as I said, I've done it 5 times. So the 3 other times I did it, the beauty pageant, the first time I did it was the year Brenda Darling was Miss Fire Island, and I completely did not place. I was like dead last, which totally happens. It's all good. I had the time of my life. I had so much fun. And then the second time I did it, I came in 3rd place. I was Miss Ice Palace. And then the most recent time I did it, I again didn't place at all, but had a super, super fun time. Miss Fire Island is a pageant I highly recommend to every drag queen. If you're listening right now, it's a good one to start yourself into. It's not that like complex, like you don't have to do like, you know, bathing suit and question and answer and all that type of stuff. It just really is a good way to kind of get your feet wet into the pageant world. Some of the other pageants I've done is Miss America, which is down in Atlantic City. And I've done that 3 times. Again, I placed top 5 my first year.
Wow.
I was first runner-up. I placed 2nd place for my 2nd year. And then the 3rd year, I did not place at all. So again, it's like, you know, pageants are, you win some, you lose some. You just have to go in with that mentality of course, you know, you want to win, but you got to go in with that mentality of you're here to show off your best package that you put together. You got to be proud of yourself. And it is a huge accomplishment to get it all together and to get it, you know, put that package out there. So that's what I try to do. You know, of course you're bummed. Of course you wanted to win, but you know, after you've calmed down a little bit, just try to tell yourself like, I'm really proud of what I put out there. So yeah, and that's my pageant basically experiences. I've done some bar pageants. I was Miss Monster, I think 1912. I don't know, but like, I've done some stuff like other things like that. But yeah, those are
That
my
was a
big
good
ones.
year. That was a good year
Yeah,
for
it was.
the
It was
monster.
you know, the Titanic and me. It was a very good year.
Oh my God. Could you give us maybe the history of Distorted Diznee at all, or?
Yeah, definitely. So Distorted Diznee was started, as I said, 10 and a half years ago, because in March will be 11. And it was started by me and this drag queen who's not around anymore, named Dallas Dubois, came up with this idea. She kind of started the idea, and then I built it off of her. And then we brought in Pixie Aventura and Bootsy LaFerris. And, you know, we wanted to take Diznee because it's such a easy type of theme. Everybody loves Diznee. And then just really fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like totally make it raunchy, make it dirty, make it drag, make it gay, make it fabulous. And basically we all decided every song that's in there is responsible by the queen who's performing it. So every song, every mix that's there was made by that actual queen. So that's very important to say. And then what happened was we decided the characters, and we decided kind of the path we wanted it to go on. We wanted to do the middle section. We do all the villains. So it's like Cruella and Maleficent and Ursula and the Evil Queen. And we went back to like, and then the second part of the show is like the Disney princesses and stuff like that is what we end with. So it's evolved over the years, which is really fun with Disney. As we get new characters, we get new things. Like, and Kento's coming in pretty soon. Bootsy's going to be doing that.
I hope she's
Brenda's going to
Bruno.
be joining me with Little Mermaid because we have a black Little Mermaid now that's coming
Oh,
up.
right.
Very exciting. So that's what's really fun. And Frozen, we added that when that came in. So the show is constantly updating, which is nice because that way when we get a lot of repeat people that come back to that show. So it's good to keep the show fresh like that and stuff with them, which is really, 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 really fun. So we'll see how it goes in Disneyland. I'm very nervous about it.
I wish I could see it.
I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to leave the theater once we're in Disney. Because can you imagine, like, like the real Cinderella walks by and I'm as dressed as Cinderella and the kids are freaking out and screaming all around us. I'm like, I can only imagine. Because actually, true story. Before drag really took off, Bootsy LaFerris and myself were on the Disney Cruise Line together.
Oh.
We both performed on there. So we know Disney pretty well. We went through the training of Disney. So we got the ins and outs of Disney in this show as well. So the secrets I can't say, right?
Ooh. Off camera.
Off camera.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Queen and like the evolution of that show, because that's probably, I think currently probably like the biggest drag show. Like,
thanks. I hope so.
Right now.
Yeah, it's been running for 11 years, that show. It was the first year was hosted by Shaquita, legendary Shaquita.
Yep.
And then she left 1 year into it, and then Dallas Dubois took over it for a year and a half after that. And then at the 3-year mark is when I took over. And coming up in December will be our 12-year anniversary.
Oh my
so I've been the host for the longest time, but the reason why it's so big is because of the core cast and because of the previous hosts that were there before, that really, especially Shaquita, that started it off right off the bat, making it a big drag show. And that we never had a production value type of drag show where it was elevated. Costumes were elevated. There was choreography. There was, at that time, there wasn't themes, but it was very, what Shaquita wanted to do was really make a production value type of show, a very theatrical experience. And the boss, Bob Pantarelli of industry, was very involved and very excited about that. And he trusted us with a huge budget. And then Dallas Dubois came in and she made it more, way more like her background is in technical like theater. So she brought a lot of that and she made it rain on the stage. She tried to zip line in 1 year. So like she really elevated, like, not just trying to make it just classic drag, like really trying to make it like crazy Broadway type of drag, you know what I mean? And then what I did over the years was, my background is in dance and stuff and musical theater. So I try to bring in the production shows like Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz and The Lion Queer. And then it really comes down to just my core cast that I have, which is, let's see if I can name them all.
There's so many.
We've had like, part of our core cast was once Monet Exchange, Thorgy, Bob the Drag Queen.
Jan.
All these people have gone through it. Yeah, Jan Sport. So a lot of them have gone off. But our core cast right now is Bootsy LaFerris, Brenda Darling, Jada Valenciaga, Chelsea Piers, Anita D, Fifi Dubois, and Androgyny is our stage manager. I hope I didn't forget anybody. I feel so bad when I look back on this. I'm pretty sure that's everybody. But I said Chelsea Piers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God.
You did now.
I did now.
I did now.
That's all that matters.
But again, they're all incredible and they all bring something different to the team. Whether it's comedy, whether it's dance, whether it's the drama, the look. Oh, Pataya Hart. That's the other one. Sorry.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Legendary.
It's Continental currently.
It's Continental, yeah.
She didn't win, but she got
second runner-up, which is huge.
Huge.
Sorry, love you.
And she won talent and evening gown, I think.
Yeah, huge. You guys got to get her on this.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Oh, she would love to do it. She loves to talk, please. But no,
I like Pataya at Queen because she's always hanging off of things.
I know. Well, she's crazy. I mean, and she's gorgeous. So I'm like, but I mean, again, that's what they all bring. They they bring that different level, and they all are something different. And that's what keeps the show fresh and really elevated. So I think that's why we've been going for now 11 and a half, 12, almost 12 years.
You've had a lot of celebs there. Any favorite celebs or stories with them?
Celeb sightings?
We've had a lot. I mean, Idina Menzel, Nick Jonas, Demi Lovato. And my favorite would be was the Nick Jonas and Demi Lovato time that came.
I
And she
remember.
performed at another bar. I'm not gonna say where, but she performed at another bar and it didn't go so well.
Oh.
No, it was fine. It was fine, but it was not something they could publicly put out
Oh.
with the way it went. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So then they called us and and the show was already over. So then they were like, can Demi Lovato perform? And the manager asked me, he's like, is it okay if Demi Lovato performed? And I said, is that a drag queen? I was like, what are we talking about? Because I didn't think the real Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought just some drag queen named herself Demi Lovato. And I was like, he's like, no, really Demi Lovato. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna say no to that, of course. So she came up, and then Nick Jonas was with her and their whole team, and they were the nicest people in the entire world. So sweet. And it was right when her song Confident came out, and the plan was I was going to go out on stage and introduce Nick Jonas, and he was going to introduce her. So I went out stage, I introduced him, and he came out and gave me this like big hug. But I'm used to like, you're not supposed to touch celebrities. So there's a picture and my arms are by my side and he's hugging me and I'm like, just staring, their mouth open wide, totally shocked. And the Everett, of course, has their cameras out, and it's all filmed of me non-hugging Nick Jonas. My one opportunity in my life. Right, I know. I'm like, God, this gorgeous man, and I didn't touch him. But then she came out, she performed, she was incredible. So that was probably one of my favorite times. But we've had again many people. Charlie XCX came and performed with us as well. So we've had a lot of them.
That's so
very
cool. Mm-hmm. Our last question before we go into our other break. What has it been like because you've been in New York nightlife so long to see like all these girls end up on like big reality shows or winning big pageants, like and like rising and kind of disappearing, I think, as well from nightlife in New York.
Well, definitely disappearing from nightlife, especially at least, New York City. A lot of them want to get on that show and they do well, they go right to LA, which makes sense because a lot of them want to get into film. I personally think it's very, very exciting. I root them all on. I cheer for them. I'm very proud to have worked with them. When Monet was really starting out, I was like one of her biggest cheerleaders. I put her in my show down at the Monster. I put her in my show at Queen. She did just sort of Diznee a couple times with us as well. But again, all of them, Thorgy, Jan, all of them that have gone, I just really am very proud of them. And it's so exciting to see how big they've gotten now with like Bob the Drag Queen with We Are Here from that HBO and Emmy Award winning. And like, it's just wild. And it's really, really exciting time. It's exactly what we talked about at the beginning of this podcast was how drag was so underground. And so back, I couldn't even imagine that there would be drag queens winning Emmys back when I first started. You know what I mean? It just was not even fathomable in my mind. So to go from where we are now and mutual friends that I worked with are winning Emmys is wild and very exciting for sure.
And on that note, I think we should take our last little break. We'll be right back, kids. Bye.
Wig, okay.
I know. Wig. I feel that already.
Wig, okay.
Wig, did you just say wig?
Wig, okay.
I am ready for my wig.
And we're
to go
back.
flying.
Oh, okay. So Holly, we talked all about hosting and being in pageants and everything. Do you have like a favorite performance you've ever done before?
Ooh, favorite performance I've ever done. Gosh, of course I have like some off the top of my head, but I'm like, which one do I really want to mention? Again, I would think it would be what we talked about before when I did that piece. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my dog is licking me. Daisy. Daisy. She gets very like, she needs focus to be on her. I would have to say it was probably that time that I got to perform at Misfire Island for the second time, doing the Demi Lovato song, Skyscraper. And getting to do that number that was for my aunt and for his mom, Julius's mom, was really, really such win or lose, we didn't care. It was just something so nice to put out there. She's somebody that means so much to me. She was like a second mom. I actually have a tattoo on my wrist, which she used to have this saying that was always eat dessert first. And that was, she was a big fan of sweets and everything like that. But that was also then, take that into your life and do what makes you happy. And that number made me happy. It made me so happy to portray something like that. So I think that's probably the most significant number I've done, something that meant so much to me. And then to have the reaction that it did, winning on top of that, and then just the people that came up to me afterwards and talked about it and how it hit them, and they've lost somebody to either cancer or some other disease, and to know that drag, which is normally a very silly and in your face and kind of, you know, not something you would take as like a dramatic type of piece, and to put that on a stage was really, really very cool.
Love.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about everyone else getting on these drag reality shows. Would you yourself ever do RuPaul's Drag Race or any other like drag? There's so many now. Like there, you could just throw a rock at it.
Yes. So of course we get that question all the time.
Yeah.
When are you going on Drag Race? When are you going? And I take it as like a flattery thing, you know, of course. For me, I've only auditioned for RuPaul's Drag Race the second season. When it was back in the day where they used to travel to the big cities. They used to come to New York. They used to come to like Denver and stuff like that. Denver, of all the cities I could have said. But they did. They used to come and like kind of, you know, scout people-ish.
Yeah.
Unofficially. But now since the popularity of the show, they don't do that anymore. So I've only auditioned for season 2. I love the show. Don't get me wrong. I watch the show. I host the show at bars. Now I'm just not sure if it's for me. I will say this though, if they called me up right now and they're like, Holly, do you want to come on the show? I'd be like, sure. Of course, I would want that exposure. But that audition tape is extremely hard. It's so many looks. It takes hours and hours and lots of money. And when I'm working 5 or 6 nights a week, it's really hard to put that all together and put together something that I'd be proud of to audition for. So I commend all the girls, you know, that work just as much as I do and are able to put those videos together. But, you know, again, you have to have that drive. You have to have that want to get on the show to do all that work. It's just tons and tons and tons of work. And then you have to edit it all down. And I know girls that have paid close to $3,000 just to get that video made. And then they don't get any past the first round. So as far as other shows, I'm not sure competition shows are for me. I would love to do you know, like interviews and stuff like that type of like television, like, you know, like Bravo TV does a whole bunch of things like that, or guest appearances on TV shows. I auditioned for Orange is the New Black, the one where Keisha Carr got that part. I'm not sure if you guys saw it.
I know.
I auditioned for stuff like that. That's very fun to me, and I could love doing stuff like that if it ever worked out. As far as competition shows, I know there's one, isn't there one like on Hulu or something like that as well?
Probably.
There's so many.
There's so many. Madeline Hatter was on one, right?
Yeah, Dragula.
Yeah, Dragula, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't get me wrong, I'd love to watch them, and I think it's really, really exciting to see what those queens put on that stage. But as far as me, probably not. Probably not.
You weren't in Shade? Why not?
I know, right? I was a part of that, but I remember that TV show. That's right.
Okay. What do you have any like upcoming projects to promote? Usually the queens we ask don't have that many, but you have a lot.
I mean, I can talk some stuff I'm not really ready to talk about, but the things I can talk about traveling wise, for the fall is going to be pretty busy for me. I'm going to, as we said, Disneyland next weekend, which is very exciting. And then the following month in October, I go down to Key West. I perform down there for Fantasy Fest, which is, if you don't know what Fantasy Fest is, it's their Mardi Gras. It's an adult clothing optional Halloween week and a half long party, and people travel from all over the world. It's a lot of swingers, a lot of people walking around butt naked, but it is fabulous. You meet the most incredible people in the entire world, and swingers are really like the most coolest people that you ever, maybe not like the prettiest people sometimes, but like definitely the coolest. And I just have the best time down in Key West. If you ever get a chance, I highly recommend going to Key West, whether it's during Fantasy Fest or anytime. It's really a fabulous place. So I'll be doing that in October. I go down there for a week, and then in November I go to Amsterdam, and they're performing with Skylar Versailles, and then I go to Paris, and I'm performing at Paris for a little bit as well.
International.
So it's a busy fall for me. It's a very busy fall, but it's very exciting. So I'm very, very excited.
Sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
Booked and blessed, baby.
Yeah, that's the saying nowadays, right? That's what children are saying. Booked and blessed.
That's what the
and
kids
blessed.
say.
Say.
No, but again, I'm very grateful. And, you know, if you want to do this, if this is something you want to do, put your time in, and definitely just keep putting yourself out there. It's the biggest thing I can say. Just keep putting yourself out there. Meet people constantly. Don't just go finish a show and then talk to a friend at a bar. It doesn't do you any good. There are a lot of people there. There's a lot of, how I got all these opportunities is by meeting people that came to my shows. And especially if you're a queen that's listening from New York City, so many people come from all over the world. So highly recommend is talking to people at the end of your show, going up to them, get their phone numbers, get their Instagram, get their Twitter, get whatever you can, and keep in touch with them. And then you never know what's going to come of it. I've performed in places from the US to all around the world, to a swingers club in San Antonio, Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I've performed in crazy places just because I've met people after my shows. So it's a big recommendation to all new queens that are listening right now. Highly recommend.
Yeah, Martyr, take notes.
I got my current job from being in drag at a Halloween party, so fuck you, Kate.
Exactly. That's how you get it. Trust me, I've done crazy things. I've performed at like a Republican convention I once did. Oh yeah, you pay my rate, I'll go anywhere. Okay, I know, but I've done some crazy things like over the years. One of my friends performed at a funeral. She had to bust in the doors of a drag queen that passed away. Yeah, you guys know the story? So they got a picture of the drag queen that passed away, and she had to dress up as that drag queen, go to the church. She was in a side room with another coffin, and she dressed up and then had to burst through the doors of the church and be like, surprise, I'm here, and then dance around the theater or dance around the church. And she did it. Apparently the audience loved it because they thought the drag queen, that would be something the drag queen totally would have loved. But there's a lot of gigs out there, children. There are a lot of opportunities to have.
Oh my god.
I'm screaming.
What's the best advice you've been given about drag?
That I've been given about drag?
Yeah.
You know, it came from I was talking way back in the day with Bianca Del Rio and Sherry Vine. And I know I was asking them advice and talking to them about advice and kind of how to go about this whole career. And they best said that a lot of people are going to give you advice. A lot of people down the road are going to say, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to, you got to wear nails, you got to do earrings, you got to do this, you got to say this, you got to do that, you got to wear this. And I always say, just take it with a grain of salt. Take it, listen to it, digest it. But at the end of the day, it's your drag. It's you. It's what you want to put out there. That's what's so great about drag. You're not putting on a show like where there's a script in front of you. You get to be your own self. You get to be your own identity. Listen to what everyone's saying. Take it in, but just digest it. Let it hit what you want to hit and listen to what you want to listen to. I highly recommend listening, but at the end of the day, you're the one that has to go on the stage. So I highly recommend just be yourself. Do what makes you happy, because it's a really grueling job. And if you're doing something, if you're on stage trying to be something that you're not, it's never gonna fucking work. Or sorry, never gonna work. Is what I recommend, though, for sure. Take it with a grain of salt and listen, but be yourself for sure.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Martyr.
It's my turn. I've been vocal this time.
Yeah, you were okay this episode.
Okay.
Are you normally the quiet one?
Yes.
I get shy around people, but
usually she's like editing and like just doing other things.
I'm producing, whatever.
How long have you guys been doing this podcast?
What did we just hit? 3 years?
Oh wow!
Yeah, it'll be 4 years soon. Couple months.
4 years next year.
Yeah.
WERRRK. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. We also lose Glam Awards.
only twice now though. But...
Only twice.
Yeah, you got 20 more to catch up to me, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna try.
Okay. Mix Holly. Can you give
She's
us?
not a Brooklyn girl.
It's gender neutral. Leave me alone. Can you give us a salacious, licentious, devious, crazy moment in nightlife that you've experienced or maybe even partook in? Give us a rumor. Give us a wild story that will go down in the queer history books of NYC.
There are so many I have seen. I mean, oh my gosh. I was trying to think about like one that's really, really good. Like what could beat the best of the best? I mean, I've worked at the Black Party over the years. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is. It's a huge fetish sexual party. And I had to be a Matahara where I had all these, what's the proper term? Sex workers, male sex workers all around me, totally butt naked. One was feeding me a hookah, one was feeding me grapes. Like it was fabulous, but I couldn't move for 5 hours. So I mean, I've had crazy stories like that, but I think my favorite story of all time was something I actually saw. It wasn't something I participated in. And I'm not sure if I should say the drag queen's name, but I'll just say her. I'm sure this queen would have no issue because there's many people that saw this and it was definitely filmed, but I'll just say she for now. Was a performance at Ritz Bar at a show called Saliva, which was like a drag competition. I'm sure you guys know it. And
we hear about it a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like people talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, it was wild. It was really, really great. And like what they would do is you had to win a competition. And at the very end, it was like $1,000 prize to be the head of Saliva or whatever, the queen of Saliva. And I was just there. I think I was a judge or I was just there watching. I can't really remember. And this one queen comes out with this shopping cart and she pushes it out and she's like kind of in this 1950s, bells out type of dress, kind of like a petticoat underneath of it, and looks like a 1950s housewife. And the song starts. I can't remember what the song was. And she just starts chopping up all this fruit. She's got strawberries and bananas and pineapple, and she's basically making a fruit salad. And that's basically all she's doing, lip syncing every now and then when she wants to, and just making a fruit salad. And then she looks like she lost something. She's like looking around. She can't find something. She's looking underneath the shopping cart. She's looking to the left, right. And we're thinking, oh God, she forgot a prop. And I'm thinking, this is a mistake during the biggest competition. Like, this is it. And then she walks out in front of the cart and lifts her petticoat and skirt all the way up to her titties, squats down, and shits out a full apple. And then she proceeds to chop up the apple, put it in the fruit salad, and then walks around, tries to offer the fruit salad to people. Nobody takes it, obviously. And she eats the fruit salad on the stage and finishes it before the number's over. That might be one of the craziest things.
What song was she doing?
I can't remember, but it was something that was very
The Wiggles fruit salad.
Yeah. It was something very, very like, oh God, I wish I could remember. But it was something just very like 1950s type of sounding, like weird.
Were there multiple queens that did apples up the ass? Because I heard the other story of the apple up the ass where 4G also ate it.
I think it was Jasmine Rice that did that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, this was back in this was the first time I saw it happen. Oh no, Jasmine shit out something else. I mean, the people have done crazy things, but I think that was the one I saw that I was there. I've also seen, I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard the Queen Epiphany,
Yes.
who lives down in Key West. I saw her fist a guy on stage once down at Barracuda Lounge. So I've seen some crazy things over the years, and I'm all for it. I love all of that stuff. I mean, I come from the days of shock where drag is supposed to make you shocked and everything like that. But yeah. I mean, I just recently had a girl at my open call that took a staple gun, and every time she got a tip would staple gun dollars to her legs and her chest. And I thought it was padding, but nope, it was just her bare leg, and she's bleeding down her legs and everything. So I've seen a lot of crazy shit over the years, for sure.
It's like a thing. I've seen that too with the different performers. It's like a thing.
It's like a sideshow thing. I think.
It is a sideshow thing. It is definitely a sideshow thing. I'm like, nope, too old for that stuff. Too old to do that stuff no more.
Oh no, hell no. You're not getting paid enough.
Right, exactly.
So our last question is, where do you want to take your drag in the future?
Good question. I really get into producing stuff. It's really, I have a joy in that, and that comes from my background in theater and everything. I really like, don't get me wrong, I love the classic drag show that I do on Wednesdays at Monster Row, but I really get into producing other drag queens and like putting these concepts together. So I guess, I would love to do a show that could be like off Broadway, or even perform on Broadway in drag would be so much fun. And I really enjoy traveling. So I think that's something I definitely want to keep doing in the future. I know as far as when I'm done with New York City, which God knows when that will be, I definitely want to end up in Key West. The drag scene down there is way more slower and way more perfect way to kind of wrap up my drag career. But, and it's paradise and beautiful. But as of now, I really want to do, would love to produce more shows. A Broadway show would be very exciting to do in drag. And definitely travel more as much as I can. I really love being able to see the world.
Sounds fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our show, babe.
Of course, thank you guys so much for having me. It's very exciting to be here.
We're not worthy.
Yeah. We're not.
Please.
We really aren't.
Please.
Where can the kids find you on the internet?
I knew you were going to ask me this. I was like, this is so embarrassing. I've got Facebook and I've got Instagram, and I can barely do my Instagram. I don't have Twitter. I don't have TikTok. Oh God, no, that is way too complicated. I think I have Snapchat just to look at hot boys. I don't really know if I have that for any reason, but Instagram, that's where you can find me. Holly Day, and again, Day is spelled D-A-E, and it's Holly Day NYC is my Instagram. And if I'm not on there very much, I at least post every single show that I'm doing. So if you ever want to come see me, you can see all my shows are posted in my story.
Beautiful. Thank you again, babe. It's been
Thank
a
you, guys.
pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. Fun times.
I was Martyr,
I see Sepper.
and this was Wigging. Bye.
Bye. I'm C Tepper. You can follow me on Instagram at CTEPPER and read my book, The State of Drag, where I interviewed 175 drag queens from around the world. All proceeds go to charity on Amazon.com.
Ooh, I love that. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Drag the Martyr. And if you have any thoughts, comments, dick pics, send them to dragthemartyr@gmail.com.
Listen, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Pandora.
And catch up with past episodes on WERRRK.com. That's WERRRK.com. Artwork for Wigging Out was provided by Glitter Baby Online. That's Glitter Baby Online. Thank you.